here in mere moments. We're going to be joined in the 5 o'clock hour by some auto experts. We've got some AI, Blink AI. I've got the CEO and the marketing specialist director. It's going to be great. We're also so much to talk about. It's going to be a crazy show. So I'm going to zip it and we're going to get ready to go here. Okay. Stand by for about 1 or 2 minutes.
Welcome to the John Villarreal Show. Now, here's John.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal. It is June. All right, we are in June here, 2024, all over the Newstalk 1040 area in the greater Tampa Bay area of Florida. It is 4:06 p.m. Doesn't matter if you're in Sarasota like me. Hey, what's going on? What's up from Aruba? We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone out there. Jackie's in Aruba. Oh, man, I can't wait to get back to Aruba. May have to wait. We've got stuff coming on with my wife, and we're thinking about maybe hitting it this summer. We'll see. We absolutely love it. Definitely go see our friends over there at Setar in Aruba. Fantastic mobile wireless company, in my opinion. They're not paying me, and there's no sponsorship here or anything like that. I just had a great experience with them. There's two of them over there, I think, two main cell phone companies. It's a great one happy island, right? One happy island. Know a lot of people there, great restaurants. We had a great time with Patricia's of New York over there. We have so many places to stay, so many things to talk about. We really, really love Aruba. There's no doubt about it. Want to explore the wrestling Caribbean too, but I mean, it's hard not to go back to Aruba when you've got good friends like Jackie. Appreciate you out there, Jackie. We definitely appreciate that. We're going to be joined in the 5 o'clock hour live on Rumble, of course, rocking my Rumble t-shirt here. And of course, we are live on YouTube, live on X, live on Facebook. And we may be reposting to LinkedIn. Don't know if we're live on there. I think I have to do sort of a two-step thing. We're working on that. Hopefully our friends at Rumble Studio can help us with that, because we would love to be live on LinkedIn as well. But we will repost on LinkedIn, and they're doing a great job. They're doing more and more stuff with the studio, and we definitely appreciate the team over there. They have enabled us to do some live reads. And it's getting better. Awesome, Pearl. Appreciate that, Jackie. Absolutely. I don't know. So there's a couple things we want to work on here. I'd love to be able to, mute the other participants while I'm doing things, and I'm going to be emailing them. And also, I don't know how to respond to the chat in the chat. Like when I'm doing it through the studio here, I don't know with the Rumble Studio, I don't know how to respond. In other words, I don't think I'm able to respond. It will allow me to look at a comment, and I can pin a comment, but I don't think I can respond in the chat myself as I can with other things. So we'll look at this. Anyway, it's great. We do definitely appreciate it. Looks good. We have a lot of things to talk about. So much to talk about. We're joined by Paul at Villarreal. He has really been building up his Twitter, the X. He's been doing a lot of things. We have so much to talk about. Trump has been convicted. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Fauci up on Capitol Hill, and he's been testifying. I've been monitoring that. We've got Olympics are coming up, and so we've got a lot of races going on. We've got big numbers being posted in Jamaica, big numbers being posted over there in the Diamond League. We also have things happening with heavyweight boxing. We had Big Bang Zhang against Deontay Wilder, and did he put Deontay into retirement? A big knockout there. We've had UFC things. We've had, there's just so much going on. Poirier got beat with that late submission Okay, so a lot of things happening. It's almost unbelievable. I do want to talk about the economy. I want to talk about real estate. We want to talk about, it's getting harder and harder for real estate agents. We're going to talk about that. The new stuff's going into effect here. We also want to talk about AI and the impact on, which they're calling this a white collar recession, if you will. I think this is affecting everybody. We have different numbers out there in the economy. There's honestly too much show here. We certainly have to lead off with President Trump. I'm joined by Paul Villarreal now. Paul, what's happening with this whole Trump situation? I mean, we had the ruling in New York. There was a big reaction to that. Trump went to UFC 302. He got a huge pop. You've gained a lot of followers on X because of that. I know Simon Atiba, others are following this. We're going to talk about, just to show note, in the 5 o'clock hour, we will be hitting automotive hard, AI, but then from there it'll spin out. I actually made some comments on my LinkedIn about where I went over compensation. Someone, Clay, and I'll give a shout out to everybody. Someone who's an expert in the automotive space, consultant, really, put a post up there, and I responded. I went through big volume on it in terms of the response. And Chris Slayton put that response there. And, Chris is someone out there who's very connected. He's the CEO and founder of Dealer Blue Sky. A lot of connections that he has there. I may read what I talked about there. I'm going to obviously push all this to the 5 o'clock hour, but I went through some serious detail. I got a lot of response on this. I put other response about this is another thing, how Silicon Valley is turning more towards President Trump, how a number of millionaires and billionaires and founders and VCs are starting to support President Trump. In fact, David Sachs and some of the All In podcasts are going to do a fundraiser for Trump, and this is changing. And I have one of my contacts out there is like, John, you've been on this for months ago. I'm going to start calling you John Stradamus. I mean, I've been telling you, if you want to be ahead of the game, if you want to know what's going on, you need to listen to the John D. Villarreal radio show here on Newstalk 1040. And you also have to check out what I'm doing on LinkedIn, what I'm doing online, what Paul's doing on X. So much to talk about. As you can see, we're not going to get to all of it. We'll get to as much as we can. We're going to push a lot of that stuff to the 5 o'clock hour. This hour, we have to talk about the Trump stuff. We got to talk about Fauci, and we got to talk about Silicon Valley and others turning towards Trump and the state of the race. Paul, walk us through quickly what happened with Trump and where we are today and how this might impact the election.
Yeah, what's going on, 1040 AM audience? What's up? So what's happening, of course, as everybody knows, was Trump was found guilty on all 34 counts, felony counts in New York. And of course, that was, earth-shattering news to many people in the country and around the world. However, I think many people were prepared for that, certainly on Trump supporters. And the initial polling after the fact is mixed. So Morning Consult is one poll which is fairly pro-Biden in terms of the numbers that they get. I'm not saying that the pollsters are pro-Biden themselves, but in terms of the results that they've achieved over the election cycle, they showed a 3-point bump for President Biden after the verdict came in. Obviously that's something, but it's not as much as, for example, in 2016, the Access Hollywood tape incident with President Trump. That was less of a bump than occurred at that time for Hillary Clinton. And there are other polls, 2 polls that came out today, which actually showed Trump gaining. So the pollster we frequently refer to on this program, whose name is Richard Barris, said that the poll showing the +3 Biden gain looks like statistical noise, like he's not buying into it. And so with these other polls showing that Trump is actually gaining, this might end up being not much of anything. Now, of course, the sentencing for the convictions is going to be on July 11th, which is just 4 days before the Republican National Convention. So there's a chance that they sentence him to, home confinement for a week. He doesn't get to go to the convention. He has to appear by, Zoom or something like this. There's, of course, consideration. Will he be actually put into prison? I think there are a number of lawyers who have said they don't think that's going to happen. There are some who said that they do think that was going to happen. Of course, if it did happen, that would, that could change. Certainly it changes things about his ability to campaign. But right now, I think after the initial shock and confusion and so forth, I don't know how much this is going to stick with him in a negative sense going forward. I mean, of course, we have to see, but certainly the money that he has raised since the conviction has been about over $70 million in small dollar donations.
Well, that's what I was going to go. Sorry, not to interrupt you. I really quickly, and I'll let you finish that point, but I wanted the fundraising has been just huge for Trump. And I think I read a stat, Paul, and you probably know more than I do, that about 30% are brand new donors. And in fact, that's one of the things I'm going to get to soon here is the quote and the post from Sean McGuire on X that I reposted, and it got a lot of heat from a lot of attention rather on LinkedIn, who said that, look, he donated $300,000 to Trump because of this. So the impact on the money of some people have speculated that, a lot of this, quote unquote lawfare allegedly was to drain Trump, take him off the trail. I think some Democrats were even saying that potentially. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying this is speculation. But also to lower the coffers of Trump in terms of the fundraising. But it looks like the fundraising from Trump is very, very strong.
It's extremely strong. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's $70 million. Remember, that's just the small dollar donors. To put that into perspective, I believe that President Biden raised $50 million in all of April. So in $70 million in like 48 hours versus $50 million in a whole month. So this has certainly activated people. And as you mentioned, for some of the tech sector people, like Sean McGuire, you're seeing kind of, I saw David Sachs, of course, who is of course, a big tech player. And what he said after the verdict came back was like, look, the election now comes down to one thing. Are we going to allow ourselves to become a banana republic or not? So it's having, sure, there's some negative repercussions for this, of course, in terms of branding of President Trump, but there's also a counteracting reaction, which is, hey, do we really want to kind of go down this road where political people are being put into jail by their opposition? And so I think that's having a strong impact on people.
Absolutely. And just a little side note here, Paul, remember to put this, make sure you're posting and putting and reposting the show on your X out there as we're doing it here, so people can join in and comment, because I know people are going to want to hear about this. I'm on your X right now, actually, and you're up to 19,600 followers. You got a lot of heat, a lot of attention, a lot of people with some of these posts and some of these tweets about President Trump at UFC 302. He got a standing ovation. A lot of people were there. Aaron Rodgers was there. Joe Rogan was there. This was a big thing. What kind of reaction did you see Trump getting in at UFC 302?
Yeah, let me just say this. I will post the thing up. Right as we were coming on air, I got my account got locked. And what it was it had to do with a parody video that I had put up secondhand. And so an artist that was involved in that, I guess, wanted it taken down from various accounts, and mine was one of them. So that's why the show isn't up quite yet, but it will be. The reaction that I have seen for Trump was overwhelming. I put up at UFC. It was absolutely I've never seen anything like this before. Basically, the event turned into like half political rally. I mean, while the bouts were going on, you had huge portions of the crowd doing "We want Trump" chants. I mean, it was just coming through loudly over the broadcast. So it was an overwhelming response. I think it was a great idea for him to go. It was a really good idea by his team to plan that. Yeah, it was massive. The fighters were coming to him after their matches. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, who plays for the New York Jets, he was there. They shook hands. So it was like a love fest. So definitely a strong contrast to anything that might have taken place in the courtroom soon before that.
That's absolutely wild. There's no doubt about it. And we've got a lot of stuff here. We've got MMA Junkie. I might try to share this online here. Hold on one second. Yeah, let's go. So yeah, give me about 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes or less. We're gonna talk about this here, and let me just silence this here until we need it, just in case. I don't want any problems here. And we are gonna go to some C-SPAN stuff. And there go. All these polls. About like, oh, are you more likely? Here's the thing. I don't believe any of the polls right now. I really don't. I don't believe any of the polls right now. I don't think that matters. I think that people voting with their money, quote unquote, voting with their money, if you will. Here's the thing, right? The people that were going to not vote for Trump were already not going to vote for Trump. You know what I mean? Like there's people that we know, some of our own family, they want to see Trump in prison right now, potentially. Okay. But the independents, I mean, you always, as they say with the generals, work in the last conflict or same thing, running in politics, running the last campaign. The Karl Rove and the whiteboard, the independents, the suburban moms, whatever like that. They're working on this, on the 10% middle or 5%, whatever, in these swing states. Okay, you understand that. So is this going to rattle them? Is this going to shake them up? Now he's a quote unquote convicted felon, at least on paper, right? Until the appeals or whatever. We'll see. I mean, obviously that is the official designation now as of this broadcast, which is, in my opinion, from what I understand, not allege anything, 6/3 of 2024. But what they fail to understand is they, because of this hyper partisanship, this politicization of everything in some place. I'm not alleging anything about this trial or any other trial, but I'm just saying just in general of everything being politicized. I mean, they had Robert De Niro showing up there and that backfired. They're losing way more support than they, in my opinion, my estimation, than they're gaining. They're losing it in the Bronx with Trump's, thing. They're losing it in Texas. They're losing the border. They're losing it so many different ways. So you're losing more than you're gaining. And when you see Trump out there with the people, and we're going to show this right now here. Let's go over here. Let me try to show this. Okay, do a little screen share. Let's see if we can do this 1 second. Okay, you're seeing this. Now we have it on the screen for those joining. Headline, Fox Sports, Trump receives thunder's applause at USC 302. And that was in Newark, New Jersey. Now, Trump and the campaign have been talking about, hey, Democrats may have to defend New Jersey. They may, where Trump has Bedminster over there. The Democrats may have to defend New York. And you'd think that's crazy talk with these deep blue areas. But now we're having a situation, there's a picture of Trump, where the polls are getting much, much closer. And what I'm saying is, as you said, David Saxon, people are really focusing on this election and saying, hey, we don't like the direction of the country. We don't like the direction of the country of what's going on here. And it's just getting too crazy here. We've got Malcolm Flex here. Donald Trump arrives to thunderous applause. The crowd is electric. You've got him with Dana White there. You've got everybody standing up. You've got people taking pictures, and people trying to do selfies. I think I saw some of that. One of the fighters came out and did a selfie with him after the match. I mean, this is crazy. You're seeing a lot of support for Trump, Paul. What impact we've seen some of this before with the UFC. What impact do you think this has on the viewing public over there?
I think it has a big impact. And I'll just give you an anecdote. Somebody that I follow and follows me basically said that his grandson, who's like 21, said his grandson and a bunch of his grandson's friends are starting to become Trump fans. And I think that's what you see from these UFC appearances, which of course cater to kind of younger viewers, young males. So that is happening. And what also,
I think we hold on. We went. Hold on, Paul. Hold on. I got to put you back here. We somehow lost the Bluetooth there. 1 second. Let's see if we can connect you again. I'll tell you. Go ahead. Try now. Go ahead. Continue. Paul, can you hear us? We may have lost Paul there for a second here. We will try to get him engaged. That's fine. We got about 5 minutes here. And now we'll get Paul reset here for the next half hour. Look, there's a lot of activity happening out there. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are saying enough's enough. And we've got, the UFC fans out there. We've got him and Dana White. We just had the Brady roast, okay? And Dana White was there, and a lot of the comedians were there. Things are shifting very, very fast. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Cat Williams, 2024 is the year the truth's going to come out. It was on Club Shay Shay. We've had even Kevin Hart. I mean, we've had Dave Chappelle. We've had a lot of things out there. Tony Hinchcliffe. A lot of things are happening. Okay, Andrew Schultz, Patrick Bet-David. People are standing up. Things are changing. Things are shifting. You can see that. You can feel it. Okay, and I really feel like we're in a different situation now. We are in a different situation now. And, that is one measure of it, one aspect of it. We're going to keep efforting to get Paul back on here, but it's probably going to have to wait for about 4 more minutes. So, yes, Trump lost his trial at this point, but, I don't know that anyone expected him to win. And now we're going to find out. We're going to see where it goes from here. We also have the presidential immunity situation up at the U.S. Supreme Court. You even have my own professor, a law school professor, Professor John Yoo. We actually may need to get him on again here, or try to get effort. I mean, he's very busy, so we might try to get him on here again, where I think he had some very, very strong comments about what happened. And we've never been here before. This is uncharted territory at this point. Meanwhile, we've got Hunter Biden had some trial situation going on that, but we also have. In the next half hour, we're going to talk about the Tony Fauci, former head of, obviously of the whole pandemic fame. And I believe he was head of NIH. I got to double check that. Was running a lot of things, and it served for a long, long time. But there was some controversy, and there's some big questions. There's a lot of people, and there's been a bipartisan committee. And in fact, he was up with this bipartisan committee talking about what happened with, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, and we're not getting too deep in all this stuff, but I mean, I don't want to retread everything, but there is new information here. What I'm saying, and what I have been saying for a while now, one of my friends called me John Stradamus, is I've been ahead of the curve. And you, if you listen to the show, have been ahead of the curve as well, meaning that people's lives are seriously affected. There's people here now talking about Florida was the great place. Can't afford it anymore. Home prices are up. Jobs are in trouble. My homeowner's insurance is up. I mean, the property taxes are up. The reality is hitting people with the inflation, with the economy, with foreign policy, with so many things. We're not doing the bread and circuses anymore. We don't care about all that. And as David Sachs said in the All In podcast, that it's been A/B tested. We've seen Trump and his economy and his foreign policy, and we've seen Biden. And in fact, I think either he or someone else said that it's quote unquote impossible. In Silicon Valley, people tell them behind the scenes, this is not a quote, hold on, this is more of a paraphrase, in my opinion, that there's a lot of support for Trump, even though, as Sean McGuire says, Silicon Valley leans very far left, okay? And that basically, I don't know who said it or where I saw it, if it was related to one of those two, probably more David Sachs, and that it's basically, quote, impossible to support Biden in the Valley. And so we're at a different point now. Even Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and I tagged this, and I'll read some of what I wrote here on LinkedIn, and I tagged Berkeley and Stanford, two places I know very well, particularly Berkeley. 7 years at Berkeley, but lots of friends over at the farm as well. Lots of people, lots of former colleagues and everything like that. Have great respect for both institutions, but you see like ESG and all this, DEI and all these different things and everything, and you can see the academics and people pushing this stuff, and now all of a sudden, like even Sundar Pichai, it's like, hey, Google's we're not hiring activists, we're hiring people to work. Basically, that's my super rough paraphrase. When you've got Google, the head of Google Alphabet, saying that, things have shifted. I don't even know if we're going to get into like Disney and all that stuff, because I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on there. Anyway, we got to take a break. John D. Villarreal Show here on Newstalk 1040 AM, live on LinkedIn. Live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X. Be right back in 6 minutes. Testing, testing. Paul, you there? John D. Villarreal here, John D. Villarreal Radio Show here on Newstalk 1040 AM live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X. We'll be posted on LinkedIn later. Lots to talk about here. We're talking about President Trump. We're talking about President Trump at UFC 302. We're talking about the election 2024. We're talking about the Trump trial, everything like that. Let me see. We're working on, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. With my brother Paul. We're trying to get him back on here. We're going to work through that here in a second. Let's just see if this works. I think it's more on my end. Let's see. Paul, are you there now? Testing. Let's just go back and forth. Paul, can you hear me here? Yeah, I can hear you here. Worst case, I can put you on speaker. We could do that. 1 second. Let me try to put you through the mixer. Try that now. Does that work? Testing. Yes, no, maybe. All right, doesn't matter. You know what? We're gonna go through a speaker here. Probably have to reboot it or something like that. So go ahead. So I've got you on speakerphone now. Any final comments that you have on the whole Trump situation and where we're at with that? We'll get into Fauci here in a second.
Look, I think that overall what we're seeing, the initial returns are, this is not the massive impact event that maybe some people thought it was going to be. At least so far, it does not appear to be that.
Got you. I definitely agree with that. I think that that's correct. And I think we're going to go on that. So I'll keep working here. It says that you're connected, but it doesn't seem like you're connected. I'll keep trying to work you through the system here, but that's fine. The speakerphone is okay as well. So now we have here, we're talking about Dr. Fauci was up on Capitol Hill. Now, there's a C-SPAN thing, public domain here. I don't know what it's going to say. I do have some different things out there where people were saying some different stuff. And, you know, it's I don't want to get all into that again or whatnot, but I will just say from a high level for what I'm seeing here, you're seeing Bill Maher, you're seeing other people that are saying, look, and in fact, I saw, what did I see? I just saw something where it was more of a normal sort of I would say left wing type of thing, where there's a lot of questions coming out here. Now people are saying, hey, maybe we did do some gain of function. Hey, maybe it did come from a lab. There's a lot of questions that are coming out here. This is something here. Let me share the screen first. Okay. This is C-SPAN. And let's do this here. Here we go. Okay. Boom. Okay. Now let's do over here. Here you can see right here, Dr. Fauci. You can see that. All right. He was up on Capitol Hill. I don't know what this is going to be. This is a quote unquote featured clip from C-SPAN, public domain right here. Okay. And let's see what it says right here. Let's check this out. Okay, here we go. This is it. Let's see. And then I'll comment from there. Oh, wait. We got a little ad here. We'll let that play. But basically, I saw some of the back and forth. And there definitely was some harsh comments. Here we go.
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Ruiz, members of the subcommittee, thank you for this opportunity to testify. Prior to my retirement from federal service in December 2022, I had been at the NIH for 54 years and director of NIAID for more than 38 years. In those posts, I was deeply involved in the scientific and RNA technology, directly address certain issues that have been carried biologists from Australia.
I don't need Fauci statement.
With arguments for, they concluded that into the content, this would be the FBI.
Okay. That's a featured clip. That's just Fauci's statement there. I don't need that. That's not doing anything for us. I mean, and that's fine. I mean, nothing. Listen, I mean, obviously he's an expert. I have no problem, hearing from Fauci and everything like that. The problem that I have there is I have a pretty good idea of what he's going to say. I don't think he's going to say anything that we haven't seen before. That's the problem, So, okay, we've got user created clips. So we got Fauci, then we have MTG, then we got Raskin, Ruiz. This are all, I think most of these are Democrats, right? So, anyway, I don't know that this is I'm trying to find something here. Yeah, we've got, okay. I'm trying to find, and this is all, I don't know. I I don't know. I don't think this is really super helpful. Anyway, the bottom line is this. I think that there's a lot of questions going on there. Now we've got the eco health thing here. There's some, we'll see. This is one of those things where it's going to take us a while to kind of sort through some of this, because a lot of this is very technical, as you'd think, as you'd imagine. Let's try this eco health thing and see if this does anything here for us. Let's see if this kind of does anything here.
During previous TIs and hearings, when asked if they supported every one of these actions and supported the suspension and debarment.
Okay. This is Mitchell Benzine, House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, Republican Staff Director. Short clip talking about 25 seconds, and it's about eco health. Now, here's the deal. And again, this gets pretty deep and pretty Byzantine. We're not going to stay too long on this because I want to get to the Silicon Valley and Sean McGuire stuff. And I do apologize for some of the technical things here. We're working through a lot of different things here. But basically, my understanding of what we're talking about in this zone is two things. Number one, did we help through the NIH fund gain of function over in the Wuhan, virology lab? Okay. I believe that there was, discussion that no, we didn't, but then it looks like maybe we did. Now, I think Fauci said, well, listen, their budget was huge. If we did anything, what we gave was a small amount. Okay. But then there was the discussion, well, did we give them special human-like mice? And there was a lot of back and forth. As you can see, it gets very technical. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. Okay. The other thing, so part of it, well, the funding, if it was through this eco health, and Daszig and was part of that or something like that. So there's, when you discuss Dr. Daszig or when you discuss eco health, that's where that comes in. I believe, in my opinion, not alleged anything. That's my personal opinion as a talk show host. Okay. Number one. Number two was, hey, well, there's three different analyses. What about all the proclamations, the lockdowns, the 6 feet? Did we have the scientific evidence of that? Right. And so there's a lot of discussion on that from the Republican side. The third part of it is, hey, what about the emails? There's some discussion that maybe some evidence or emails were deleted, that maybe people were putting dollar signs or different things like that to potentially evade FOIA requests. That there was some lady supposedly that I think since retired. This is my personal opinion. I'm not alleging anything from news reports. I'm trying to recall for the audience, that basically was possibly instructing people how to evade FOIA requests. So this is very, very serious allegations. That's what we're dealing with. This clip, I believe, is from the Mitchell Benzine House Select Subcommittee Republican Staff Director, is talking about eco health. But those are the three things that are really coming up there and that have been discussed. Again, these are longer discussions, but here's some right here. Here we go.
Both Dr. Collins and Dr. Tabak said yes. Sitting here today, do you support the suspension and debarment of EcoHealth?
Yes.
I want to move.
So, wow, okay. So that's huge. I might play it again. That's Dr. Fauci saying that he supports the debarment of EcoHealth. So that's, okay. Now we're talking about different situations.
Yes, I am.
Hold on.
During previous TIs and hearings, when asked if they supported every one of these actions and supported the suspension and debarment, both Dr. Collins and Dr. Tabak said yes. Sitting here today, do you support the suspension and debarment of EcoHealth?
Yes.
I want to move.
Okay, that's it. So that's big news right there. That's a big shift. That's a big thing. So now we've got Fauci that basically has moved away from EcoHealth. So again, this can get very Byzantine. This can get very much into the weeds, but that's really interesting there. Paul, let's see. Do you want to make any comment on that?
Yeah, look, I mean, so the hearing today, the upshot was you have Fauci, as you mentioned, you have Fauci appearing after more information has come out questioning, like you said, were emails deleted? Just more questions about potentially the lab leak theory and so forth. So I think he kind of came in today not as the paragon or the champion of science and all this stuff, but as somebody who made mistakes and maybe there should be some accountability for that. And the first person who addressed the chairman of the committee, I can't remember I can't remember his last name. It's an Ohio doctor representative, and he had a really good statement. And I actually put a clip up of it, basically saying, look, you made mistakes. People in your office talked openly about breaking federal law. This is what he said. And, where's the accountability? And you kind of held yourself up there, and everybody held you up as this. And the truth is, this didn't go that great. And, where's the accountability for that? So I think that's what we're dealing with here, is that we know more information now, and this wasn't handled so perfectly. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others were coming after him and asking real questions. And now I think that there isn't the need to defend Fauci so much from the left as it used to be, because COVID's in the rearview mirror. So in that regard, maybe some Democrats or some on the left, they don't feel the need that they have to protect him to the extent that he used to be protected.
Well, not only that, but I mean, first of all, who's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect out there. And as you said, this was a massive, major event. People were losing everything, losing lives. People were losing health. Kids were shut out of school. There's kids are behind in school. People have lost businesses, sometimes third, fourth, generation businesses. I mean, people lost a lot of stuff. So there should be some accountability. This was a massive cataclysmic type of event, and the response was on that level as well. And in fact, we're sort of still dealing with the economic repercussions of that, with inflation and different things of that nature. And so in the midst of that, you had Fauci appear in all kinds of different places. You had SNL doing skits, you had, him appearing on talk show. I think he was on different talk shows, maybe Colbert. I mean, he was all over the place. It was almost like watching Bill Nye Science Guy. It was very strange. And I think, in my opinion, and I think at one point he even says that he was the science. If you question him, and someone read back, and the Republican members read back that quote, it just seemed a little too arrogant, a little too over the top, and it just was very strange. Now there was that other, I can't remember who did. I did put it up there. There was a documentary that was done. It wasn't by Vice. It was by someone else. It was a documentary. And it was basically went into 15 minutes about how bureaucrats undermine the president. And it was talking about Dr. Birx or Dr. Bricks. I think Dr. Birx, and how, Trump would say one thing and put directives out, and then the bureaucrats are just doing whatever. And we're talking about deep state and different things. And it's just, but it's like, there are so much that was going on here, and there's serious questions. Now, you can have a situation where, someone did things in the best of intentions, and Dr. Birx and I think and Dr. Fauci both were, sort of came up through the whole AIDS, crisis and stuff. And they sort of, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, if you will. People have different approaches, different methodologies. But again, this is fighting the last conflict. If that's how you treated that terrible health danger, emergency, then you put that methodology on this. Well, this is different. This is different, right? You don't treat the flu, even a bad flu, like the pandemic in the early 1900s, the same way that you would with the AIDS or Ebola or bubonic plague or whatever it is. There's different things out there. And when you shut down in an interconnected world with so much travel and commerce and trade, stuff like that, when you shut down travel and commerce and trade and movement, it has dramatic impacts on economies and stuff like that. So these are not easy things. No one's saying that he should have been perfect, but don't act like you're perfect. And of course, with if you're a big time government official, there should be some accountability and some rear view mirror examination to find out, what went right, what went wrong, and how we can do better. Any final comments, Paul?
Yeah, that's basically what it was. And that's, it was a big deal because it was kind of the main show, so to speak, of the day. But it was exactly what you just said is, nobody's expected to be perfect, but however, you were treated almost like this kind of mythical figure. And we found out later, things like 6 foot distancing were just kind of made up out of thin air. And people were not allowed to see loved ones and stuff. And so there were
a lot of challenges with this. And as you said, the main thing of all of it is let's look at what happened so we can do it different going forward.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. Okay. So here's the thing. So now I want to spin to, and I'm trying to get it up on this side, share the screen. It's not a huge deal. On my LinkedIn, I'm going to put this down for a second here, Paul. On my LinkedIn, in the 5 o'clock hour, we will be joined. We will be joined by the CEO of Blink AI and stuff, and as well as Stephanie Quinn. And it's going to be interesting here. It's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about service. We're going to talk about different things in the automotive space, and what happens there. And it should be pretty cool. And I'm going to have a lot of different questions, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, and we're going to see where it goes. We're going to see where it goes. And, so Dave Perry and Stephanie Quinn are going to be joining us there. Now, I do want to talk about, I had a lot of things, and I'll deal with that later. So Sean McGuire, who is a partner in Sequoia Capital. I put a bunch of different things up there on LinkedIn, a lot of activity that I've done, relatively, obviously, that I put down here. And one of my, let's see where I started off. I started off about 3 days ago, and this got 311 impressions. And for LinkedIn, that's pretty good, honestly. And Sean McGuire went through a lot of stuff, okay? And the pull quotes I put down here, and I said, Sequoia Capital partner Sean McGuire has some strong words and detailed reasons on his reaction to the New York verdict. This is Trump, right? And who he is supporting in November. Pull quotes, quote, I live in Silicon Valley, which traditionally leans very far left. Quote, freedom of speech means nothing if you're afraid to use it. And now I will put this up here. Let's get this up here. I will pull this over. I've got to do a lot of work here in about 8 minutes. So hold on one second. Let me pull this up here. And I think, okay, yep. And then I'm going to put this up here so everyone can see it on the live. So let me just close some of these out here. Boom, boom, boom. 1 second here. And so he comes out and says this. Now, this is a big deal. I can't stress to you how big of a deal this is to see this kind of activity in Silicon Valley. And there's more people that are stepping out and saying this here. I'm going to pull this up here. Okay, now we're sharing on the screen. Not yet. Okay, there we go. All right. And let me try to magnify that one last time. Boom. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Headline, Sean McGuire, partner, Sequoia Capital, Caltech Physics PhD, quantum space, crypto security, parenthetical, it's a niche but high impact field. That's his headline, okay? The headline was, I just donated $300K to Trump. It has 1.6 thousand comments. It has 6,400 reposts. It has 25,000 likes, and it has 4.9 million impressions. Paul, how big of an impact is that in the Twitter world?
Huge impact. I saw that same, like he put maybe the same thing on Twitter or whatever. That was getting shared by many, many people because I believe he's somebody, as you mentioned, who is not really necessarily as a long-term Trump supporter. And so I do think you'll see movement after this. And look, as you said, we know there was a report in Wall Street Journal, Elon Musk and Trump were supposedly kind of like working together a little bit. David Sachs and some of the other Elon Musk friends, the people in the All-In pod, apparently there's been kind of a coordination of various high net worth individuals in tech fields and other who are coming in to support Trump. Miriam Adelson, who owns the Dallas Mavericks, just committed $100 million.
We're going to talk a lot about this. We're probably going to have to push it to the last half hour segment. I don't know how long we're going to go with our guests, but let me work through this real quick. I appreciate those comments. That's what I'm saying. So much to talk about this here. We may do an extended broadcast later. We may stay live on the live streams here after we drop off 1040 to talk about some of that. We probably have to do a little bit of that. Okay, here's the headline. I just donated $300K to Trump. This is Sean McGuire. I'm going to burn through this because it's just, there's so much here. Subheadline, I just donated $300,000 to Trump. I'm prepared to lose friends. Here's why. He talked about how he donated to Clinton in 2016. He didn't vote for anyone in 2020. Quote, now in 2024, I believe this is one of the most important elections of my lifetime, and I'm supporting Trump. I know I'll lose some friends for this. Some will refuse to do business with me. The media will probably demonize me. They had so many others before me. And let me tell you something right now. I went through all of that in Silicon Valley, okay? In my opinion, I went through all of that in Silicon Valley. So I know exactly what it is, brother. No doubt about it. You got a good friend here in that. I know exactly what it is. We just lost Paul there, but we've been having some technical stuff. There's some, I don't know, who knows? Okay. So now he talked about, I won't go through all this. We talk about, okay, quote, I refuse to live in a society where people are afraid to speak. And before that, he's like, despite this, I still believe it's the right thing to do. Okay. And I talked about 2016 election, and he talked about how he started pushing towards the center. Okay. August 16, 2021 was the day I knew I could never support Joe Biden or any other senior officials of this administration. All right. That was a day that the Afghans fell to so he talked about how the evacuation from Afghanistan and Kabul airport and stuff like that. And he said back in 2012, he deployed to Afghanistan and worked for DARPA. He used to do so. He was deep in there, Bagram Airfield, Kandahar. I would highly recommend you go check out this post. So he talked about different things here, and he talked about being in there, and he talked about the strategic bases, everything like that. Okay. And how important it is. Okay. And so, so I'll go, then he talked about global instability. He says it wasn't just Afghanistan. That I believe that Biden administration has had some of the worst foreign policy in decades. With two major wars breaking out during their administration. And he talked about, so he goes through some of this, okay? And this is a big deal. And we've talked about that. And he's like, he ends it here in this section. The Biden administration has been a dream come true for foreign adversaries and a nightmare for U.S. allies, trusting of enemies and fickle with friends. Okay. And he talks about Israel, and he talks about double standards. Right. That's another thing. I've got a minute left here. Talks about classified documents with Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Mike Pence, but then Donald Trump, they're going after Trump. Talks about the border wall. He talks about the election stuff, how, okay, Hillary Clinton and Biden talked about 2016 results and other politicians since 2000, but now we're going after Trump. He talked about all these different things. Talks about lawfare. He goes through that. Talks about, there's a lot, all the stuff. He goes in some serious detail here. There is a lot of length here. And he talks about where he disagrees with the Republicans on abortion and some other stuff like that. But he says that other than abortion, I believe President Trump and the Republicans have been better on domestic issues. Look at the quality of life in red states of Florida and Texas versus blue states in California, Oregon, New York. And listen, this is Founders Fund. This is Delia Nasparov about, in the Miami tech movement. This is Peter Thiel. This is all, we've seen big movement. He's not the only person that's thinking this. You're seeing a net migration loss in California. California was the best place ever for so long, the golden dream. And now people are coming to Florida and stuff like that. And he talks about the election 2020. There's just a lot here. Here's summary. In 2016, the two primary reasons to vote for Hillary Clinton: one, Russia; two, the little Entertainment Tonight thing. But he's like talking about that, and he's like, do I agree with Trump on everything? Of course not. The area disagree with. Okay, so he talked about that. But he's like, in general, I think Trump was surprisingly prescient with the border wall and master negotiator with the Abraham Accords and stuff like that. And the conclusion is, speak up, don't be silenced. Freedom of speech is worth nothing if you're afraid to use it. We can't let cancel culture win. There's no greater country in the world than America, but America has had a bad decade. And so this is the thing. And so there's more here, and I try to hit it very quickly here. There's more to talk about. But the bottom line is whether Sean McGuire, David Sachs, Cat Williams, I'm not putting everything with it, but with the Brady Rose, people are like, enough is enough. We came to America because America's special. We want to maintain that whole situation. And it's just time to do stuff here. I may have lost someone there. So I do think that it's about time to go to a break here. I know we're trying to do some stuff here. So yeah, someone's trying to join over there. So I got to figure some stuff out here. We're going to take a break right now. Newstalk 1040 a.m. Hey, 5 o'clock hour. We're going to some special guests. Get ready for that. This is the John D. Villarreal radio show here on Newstalk 1040 live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Talk to you soon.
Hey, John.
Hey, what's good? What's going on? We are still live right here, Dave. Real quick, I'm going to take a little break. This is all I get before. But what in general? I mean, I want to get into it. Talk about your company. Talk about what's going to do. I'm going to probably have to ask you. Not really hard questions, but it's not going to be a 30-minute commercial. Also, do you want to say 30 or 60, or what are you looking at?
30 minutes should be enough for us, John. So
that's perfect. That's perfect because that gives me time to kind of cover some. It's a big show today, a lot of news and stuff like that. So I want to talk about what your company is doing, technology, the car business, how everything's changing, disrupting. There's a lot of stuff, as you know, a lot of stuff going on. Right. I think it's very cool because I can tell you that there's a big pain point in the service, for responsiveness. There's no doubt about it. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Cool. Looking forward to it as well.
Thank you, brother. Be right back.
Hey, John, I know, is this a one-on-one or is Stephanie going to join as well? I'm not sure.
Stephanie can join, no problem. That's not a problem. Okay. I think it's on auto. Now I'm sort of learning this system here. It's a new Rumble Studio system. They're really, really great. But I don't know everything of how it works. I have not had multiple guests, but I've got it on auto, which I think will. Oh no, let me put it on auto. Hold on. So she's now I've got it on auto. She's more than welcome to join. Absolutely. I saw her trying to jump in, but now I don't see her in the bottom here. So I'm not sure if she's on, not on, where we're at with that.
She said she was on a blank screen. I'll just ask her to try it again.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And I'm just going to mute you until the show opens. We got about 1 minute. I've got just your little open.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Hold on, everyone, because we should be starting any second. This is perfect. What's up, everyone? It's John D. Villarreal Show here on the John D. Villarreal Radio Show on Newstalk 1040 AM all over the greater Tampa Bay area and also live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Joined by special guests right now, Newstalk people out there. We are joined by Blink AI CEO Dave Perry and the Director of Marketing as well. We are doing a lot of stuff here. We're talking about automotive. Now, some people like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to deal with my car and I don't want to think about it. You know, Stephanie Quinn and Dave Perry here. Dave started this company to deal with the problem. You go to the service. First of all, how about you schedule service? How do I get my car in? I've got an oil change. I got a flat tire. I got something. I'm busy. I'm an executive. I'm at home. I'm doing whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter. You can be living your best life but you want to now get your car dealt with. How do I schedule this? Oh, guess what? I put my car in. I've been in and out of automotive for about 11 years now. One of the top of the nation for what I've done, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not about me, but I have experience, right? And I know what goes on out there. And I'm not trying to be a punk. Don't hate on me, my automotive people out there. But I'm going to tell you, I've worked in 3 different states. I've worked in about a dozen plus different dealerships. I have yet to see one service department that actually answers their phone consistently. And I know that because when I'm on the front of the house, I will get constantly, particularly if there's no receptionist or it's after hours, whatever, constantly getting phones. I know so many salespeople, managers, general salesmen, they are terrified to pick up the phone because 5 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a service customer. So now you take your car in there or your vehicle, SUV, truck, whatever it is. When's it ready? What's going on? How long are they going to have it? You have no idea. You try to call, you can't get anyone. That's what I believe generated Blink AI. What are we talking about here, Dave Perry? What are you doing? What's the pain point that you're addressing, and how do you do it?
Well, I think you called the ball, John, pretty well on the genesis of the company. And just a slight correction, I didn't actually start the company. This company was started by 2 co-founders, both technical guys that came together with a couple of guys that had spent, years and years and years in the car business. So they really understood that point of pain that you just talked about. I joined the company about a year ago. I've had a long history in tech and lots of different industries, but this is my first foray into health or into to the automotive space, which really I think is an advantage for me because then I can look at things without the context of a lot of things that
I agree.
happened in the past.
We'll talk about that. Go ahead, continue.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, one of the first things we do when we ask, people inside the dealership, hey, how would you call if you're going to get your wife's car or your husband's car in for service? How do you do it? And they say, well, I call Bob over here.
I know a guy. Yeah, exactly. I know man or woman, but it doesn't matter, right? It's
Right.
but all right, I know someone. That's how it's done. It's all old school. It's mom and pop. They're 30, 50 years behind everyone else. But meanwhile, everyone's getting disrupted. Tesla, Carvana, everything's taken over. So having someone like you with that experience, that outside experience and fresh eyes and great leadership, I think makes a lot of sense. So continue with how you approach this.
Well, it's when you think about it, just abstract to one other level, and it says, well, this is just one of the engagements that a car buyer has with the dealership. You know, it's just one of many, actually. And if you poll the customers, the car dealerships, I mean, they'd really rather go to the dentist than they would to the dealership. And for a lot of reasons, you know, there may be some issues of trust, or maybe just lack of information, but or intimidation in some cases. But a big part of it is it's just a difficult process. Who do you call? Like you say, how do you manage through the various ways that you can engage with the dealer? And our data shows us pretty clearly that if you call the dealership, you probably got about a 40% chance that somebody would answer it. And if you leave a message, you got about a 60% chance that it'll be returned. So the odds aren't good there. Plus, I mean, who wants to pick up the phone? Nobody uses their phones for talking anyway anymore. And
True.
so there's digital ways to do this. But if you go to the website and try to set up an appointment, about 70% of the people that start the process abandon along the way because it's just too difficult. And it's well-meaning, of course, like most things. The intentions were good. We're going to collect as much information as we can about you, so that we're ready when you come in the door. But in reality, all you're doing is annoying the customer. You're confusing the customer. They don't have a lot of the information that you're asking for. And at the end of the day, it's not really necessary. And with the amount of data that we have available to us about the customer and your history with, you know, the dealership, the information about the car, we don't have to ask all those questions. We can book you in really, really quickly. And now what we're doing is we're applying that same sort of technology and approach to all the other engagements that happen within the dealership. Our goal is to make working with the dealership, you know, at the same level that you would have working with any other business in a way that where you get a positive, quick response, correct information, easy to engage with. But we're not forgetting about this is, you know, what we're there to do too is to improve the operations at the dealerships. Now, if we're handling most of the calls for people that are checking status of the vehicle, or they're making a new appointment, or they want to, you know, we're calling them back in for some sort of service due that, or maybe they were in and they skipped the windshield wiper repair, that sort of stuff, that we call them back in. We got a very high degree of capability of bringing them back in for service along the way. And so we can reduce the call volume at the dealership. We can improve the customer satisfaction. We can improve the number of appointments. We can spread the appointments throughout the day, so it's an even workflow in the dealership. And we improve customer sat scores as well. So we look at the two biggest stakeholders in our company are the dealer and the customer. And we want to make both of them happy.
Makes sense. Absolutely. So what you've got here, I'm looking on your website here, and I don't know if I want to share it or not here. Let's see. It sounds like, let me
Stephanie's job day one for out of the box is to change our website. So you'll see a lot in there about scheduling and so forth, but
not trying to put somebody on the hot seat. No, fair enough. Just because I think it'd be nice to kind of, let's see if this works.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not going to mess up what we're doing here. Let me try this here, and I'm going to switch to presentation mode for a second. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here, if we look at this, is you've got the AI enhanced scheduling, phone plus web plus service service campaign manager, and I want to talk through some of this. So you've got the service scheduler, and it looks like you're saying that increases frictionless scheduling experience that converts it 90%. How does that work? Is that I'm going to the dealer's website and now I have a special calendar? Am I doing a chat bot? Like, how does that work?
Well, there's the question. Their answer to your question is there's a number of ways, but predominant way is you would go to the company's website or the dealer's website, And particularly if you're in a mobile experience. So one of the things that we've discovered is probably about 80% of the schedules are coming in on some sort of mobile device. They're not sitting at their home computer. So we've optimized that experience for a mobile device. And so you don't have this multiple scrolling around that a lot of people do. We pop right up. We recognize who you are. So we've left. If this is your second visit, we know who you are already. We know all about your car. So we don't have to ask you a lot of questions. We just, welcome back, John. Nice to have you. It looks like it's time for your next service. You want to schedule that? What works for you? We'll give you some dates alternative there. And then you're usually booked within about 60 seconds or so. That's the way it works.
4 clicks.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. That makes sense. Okay, so right, just try to make it simple and easy. So then we go on. So now I'm scheduled, but then you also have the phone automation. Now I've got my car in there. I want to call my advisor back. Hey, how's it going? When am I going to get my car back? Or SUV, whatever it is. And you're saying you can capture 70% of this. Now, is this I'm calling and I'm getting an AI robot? I'm calling and I'm getting a text message back. How does that work?
Well, I mean, it's a fairly simple system, because if you're calling back, we know whether we by your phone number, we know, John, whether your car's in service or not. So the odds are highly in favor. If you're calling in and your car's in the shop, you want to know the status of the car. So we come up very first thing and say, hey, John, you checking your status of your vehicle? And if the answer is yes, we can look in the DMS and we say, okay, car's not quite ready yet, John. We'll let you know when it is. Okay. So that avoids a human having to pick up that phone, answer that call, look on the system. You don't even really have to talk to the service advisor. That we're trying to buy time for the service advisor to spend with the customers that are in there needing service, needing support, have deeper questions there. If you need to talk to your service advisor, then we can pass that call on to them. But in the other case, the people that are calling in, so to make a new appointment. So let's say that you didn't go to the website, but you wanted to call the dealership. Same thing applies there. Just a few simple questions, and you got an appointment done. We'll confirm that via text message to you. We'll do the follow-ups for the call. We'll do reminders. Even after the service is complete, we'll send you a little survey that how was that service, giving that the dealership the opportunity to intervene in case you didn't have the best experience that time around. Now we can go resolve that before it becomes a bigger issue. Customer retention is really huge, as you know, in the car business. And we're trying to plug any hole that gives the customer any sort of bad experience on the front end or the back end.
So I appreciate that so much. And let me sort of set the table for those that don't know, so we're all pretty knowledgeable here. The automotive industry is, an automobile is, for most people, is the second biggest purchase they're going to make in their life, right? House being number one, cars are number two. It's a massive amount of money. It's a huge, industry. And it's really, I'm not, to my automotive friends out there, I'm not trying to punk you out, but it's something that hasn't really been innovated. Again, it's 30, 40, 50 years behind. Some parts are catching up very fast. Some are leading, like Tesla and others. It's now being heavily disruptive. And I say this, and same thing with real estate, and same thing it used to be with mortgages. It's an area, and I get in trouble with some of these things. I have my little sayings where it's like, it's a place where you can still make professional money, but you don't have to have a professional degree. You don't even necessarily have to act professionally, right? And so what happens is they don't have the internal capabilities. They don't. I find that it's changing, but historically they haven't really valued so much education. I've got so much education, it's ridiculous. But it's like, they'll, other than like the NADA certificate and stuff. And again, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to say where the opportunity is and where the pain points are. So internally, they don't have a lot of the internal capabilities that you would see at a Fortune 500 or a tech company or even a startup, something like that. So everything gets farmed out. Tech gets farmed out. Marketing gets farmed out. Only thing that doesn't usually get farmed out is they usually have like a controller, so accounting, but everything else gets farmed out. And so what happens is you don't know how to maneuver all these things. So they'll go to these big shows. They'll have all these different vendors like Blink AI. Hey, how do I do? Oh, I can do this. I can have all these promises from the vendors. Some work, some don't. but they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to control it. They don't know. It's like, from my legal training back in California, you'd have an internal general counsel, then you'd know how to sort of quarterback, the external law firms and stuff like that. You'd understand it. So that's where there is a great opportunity on the vendor side, but also a great opportunity to add value. And of course, as Dave said, people, they're scared to go buy a car. They're scared to take their car into service. And so there's all this pain in there, and it creates a huge amount of opportunity for customers to step in. Now, on this, the last thing I'll say on this before we get back to Dave and Stephanie, on the service side, service and finance, or particularly service, are the two areas of profit left in the dealership. People think that every time you sell a car, you make money. That's not true. They've been under massive pressure because, like any competitive marketplace, the margins are shrinking. So anything that makes service more efficient and a better experience or more profitable is super valuable in the car business. So that's where I'm very interested in this. I wanted to have them on the show to talk to people and tell you about this. And so I want to work through some of this. And now on the next offering that you have, the next major offering is this service campaign manager. No, excuse me. Did I miss something? I missed something.
No, you got it.
We did get it. Okay, we did get it. So what got you interested in this, Dave? And what's been the response in the industry? And how much does it cost? Like, okay, I'm a dealership, I want to sign up. Where do I go?
Well, come to us, of course. We work with dealers of all sorts and varieties. We have a great cross section of different brands, different areas of the country, different dealership groups. What we're finding is that we started out, John, it was dealer by dealer, and what we're finding now is as the dealers share with others, the kind of things that we're able to deliver for them, we're being certified for many more of the large dealership groups. So more and more our new customers are coming to us from referrals or from the corporate FOD of the dealership groups that are coming to us, because what they're finding is this ability to make a better customer experience from end to end, as well as improving the KPIs of the dealership, is just really an attractive alternative for those stores. And we're just at the beginning of it. The number of additional things that we can automate, and certainly on our roadmap to be able to do down the road, is just phenomenal. But even like this campaign managers that you just mentioned there. So now that we're sitting on the database, by the way, we integrate with all the DMSs, all the major schedulers, so forth. So you don't have to unbolt anything to put us in place. We can sit right on top of your existing infrastructure. We're integrated with just about all of them. So that makes us really attractive for a large dealership group as well, because now even though they've acquired many of these dealerships and financial transactions, you can't always say what sort of software stack exists.
Right.
And in our case, it doesn't matter. You can buy, Blink AI. We're a monthly service, depending on which of the packages that you buy there, and it can be as little as $1,000 a month up to about $4,000 a month. But the cool thing is, John, is it pays for itself many times over from month one. This isn't something that you bolt on and it has to learn for 6 months. You start getting these benefits of more ROs, higher value ROs immediately, and the service really pays for itself.
So it's like a recurring revenue SaaS model. $1,000 to $4,000 a month is probably what you're looking at. The word's getting out there. I mean, I definitely not here, not now, but I'd love to talk to you both offline and see. There could be some interesting synergies and stuff going on. I love this. I'm looking at a lot of different things. I know a lot of dealers out there. I know a lot of different groups out there. The response, you say, has been good. Roughly how many dealers are you working with right now? 50, 100?
No, it's over 200 dealers now.
Wow.
And growing very rapidly. Yeah, we're growing at 100+% per year. So we're growing very rapidly.
Based out of Austin. And where do you want to take the company? And Stephanie, it sounds like you've got some things that you've got to deal with too on the marketing side. What is the challenge? What is the next step for the company?
I think education, really. I mean, we're doing something that nobody else in the space has done, and we're doing it differently. And so there are a lot of questions, and just like you're asking us today, people don't know what to ask or what they're looking for or what to ask for necessarily. So it's my job and our job as a company to figure out how to get ahead of that, answer questions, make the information available, make what we're doing apparent. And to speak to Dave's point, referral has been huge for us, that there's definitely a buzz in the dealerships now. People know who Blink AI is. Their cousin dealership down the street is using us and talking about it, and it's just catching on. And then, speaking with people like you is great. So educating the community, making this an open conversation, and helping people understand how easily they can affect some of the pain points. And they're just a little bit behind the ball. So trying to catch everybody up and make it as seamless and easy as we can for everyone.
That's awesome. What now, the CX and I mean, the customer experience and the response on that, how do customers feel about this?
Well, they love it. Are you talking about the end customer, John?
Yes.
Well, they love it because it's quick. It does what they want to do. It's there when they need it. And it's omni-channel. So it could be text, it could be email, it could be phone. There's a number of ways that we can provide the information to the end customer. But they're ultimately getting their car repaired. They're ultimately buying the parts that they want. They're ultimately getting back on the road. They're ultimately getting an experience that doesn't take a half a day sitting in the dealership drinking cold coffee. That's what they're buying, right?
Yeah,
and they love it.
Absolutely. I've always said that, like, it's I think when I've talked to different CEOs, owners, different GMs, stuff like that, I said, listen, I think I'm really, really good, but I'm probably maybe worth $500, possibly $2,000, depends on the brand, depends on the market. Maximum in terms of relationship and customer likes you and stuff like that. People aren't coming in to be my best friend. People want to get their car. They want to get the right deal. They want to get in and out very quickly. They want to have a seamless experience. So anything that makes it more, people will pay for value, but you have to understand what that value is. And a lot of the value, as you said, Dave, is being able to get what I need at the dealership in and out very quickly, have visibility, have transparency, know what's happening, know that I need this or don't need this, and know that when I'm going to get my vehicle, because some people may only have one vehicle and they have a big family, whatever it is. Exactly. And so I think that is very, very powerful. Obviously, AI is the big buzzword and stuff like that. How does AI work with your company?
Well, it's huge. It's part of our name, obviously. And there's lots of different ways that it impacts the engagement. One, there's a context. Every discussion, every engagement that we have has certain context to it that is sometimes, forthright. If you're trying to schedule service, that's one thing. It's very clear you just want to schedule service. But if you're chatting with someone and you're trying to understand what their problems are, or if you're looking at, for example, one of the ways that we use AI is to be able to explain to customers the value of declined services. So you come bring your car in and they want to sell you all sorts of cabin air cleaners and various other things. And you may not really truly appreciate that. So we'll follow back up with a clear explanation of it based in context of what their particular car needs. And then in order to make it, again, a high conversion ratio, we include a link that's specific to them. So all they have to do is click on that link and they've automatically got the dates. They don't have to put any more information into it, and it just works. So not only do we inform customers using our AI techniques, but we also make it really, really simple. We're basically scientists, not me in particular, but a lot of scientists in our company. But our method is to let's look at every engagement and where during the process are they likely to fail.
I love it. I appreciate it. Dave Perry, Stephanie Quinn, Blink AI. Really appreciate you guys joining us right here on the John D. Villarreal radio show and live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Appreciate your time. Go check them out. BlinkAI.com is where you can see more. And go give these, if you're local, maybe give them a shout over there in Austin. If you're a dealer or you have someone in automotive, call them up, see what's going on. Appreciate you guys' time. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, John. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Hey, everybody, this is John D. Villarreal radio show. We're taking a break right now. Last segment coming up on Newstalk 1040 a.m. Be right back.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Accompanying former President Trump during Mr. Trump's visit to the southern border yesterday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott trumpeting the success of his state's efforts to secure the border. Mr. Trump
on, everyone? John D. Villarreal here, John D. Villarreal Radio Show. Trying to get my brother Paul back on the line. All right, technical difficulties there. We'll see what's going on. Great segment there. Appreciate Dave Perry and Stephanie Quinn from Blink AI. Fascinating to learn about that. Love to talk to him on an ongoing basis here and there, kind of check in what's going on, because there's so much going on in automotive now. Just lots of different things happening, dealership level, car level, technology. Are we doing electric? Are we doing hybrid? Carvana, Tesla, there's just so much happening. I love technology. I love all this stuff. I love all the stories. I'm going to keep trying to call Paul here. We have different things happening here. Let me see if I can actually get that on the broadcast. Let's see what we got going there. See if that works. I don't know. Who knows? We're trying everything. I want to talk, and he just told me, I did get him in the break. First of all, John D. Villarreal Radio Show here, not live on Newstalk 1040 all over the greater Tampa area. Also on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and X. So it's really good right there. I just heard from Paul that Doug Leone of Sequoia Capital has come out for Trump. Okay, a former managing partner. Let me see if I can confirm that and get that up over here. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we've got here. I heard that is a breaking type of deal right there. So who knows? I mean, this is really good. I mean, this is really important. I want to hear about that. I am just not able to get Paul online here, but I cannot confirm that. But that's what I'm hearing. So we'll see if we can get more information on that. Okay, we'll see if we can get some more information on that. And this is just showing you that things are moving, dude. Things are happening. Stuff is moving out there in the tech world, and people want to know what's going on. People are moving, and we're back to, again, the Sean McGuire thing. So when we're talking about Sean McGuire and we're talking about that, I posted that up on my LinkedIn. Okay. And then I had, we just got another one. And again, this is in there. I'm not like, it's weird. On my LinkedIn, first of all, I got a lot of heavy hitters on the LinkedIn. I got about 4,500 connections. So, but it's in weird silos, not weird silos, but I mean, it's kind of like my life. So I've got maybe like 200, 300, let's call it 400, 500 automotive people. Okay. So a lot in automotive. Okay. And a lot of those are GMs, GSMs, owners, CEOs, executives, that kind of stuff. Right. And, okay. Got you. Paul just texted me. So we're trying. Okay. So he's got something here. Okay. Hold on. I'm going here on I'm going to get back to my LinkedIn here in a second, but I do want to confirm this here. He's got something right here. He did 59 minutes ago, players. This is how fresh this is. Let me see. Let me get this up here. I'm going to put this up here. Hold on 1 second. I'm pulling this over here. This is brand new. You listen to the John D. Villarreal Show here. You get some breaking news, some breaking stuff that's happening right here. So let's put this up here, right there. Okay, cool. All right. And then let's go over here, and we're going to share the screen right now. So we're going to share the screen, and we're going to Paul. All right. And there we go. And now we're going boom. There we go. Okay. So you see Paul right here. First of all, props to Paul. He's up to 19,659 followers. You got to like that. Okay. You want to see Paul, a.k.a. Vince Manfield at Aurelius Stoic 1. Aurelius Stoic 1 on X. All right. AURELIUSSTOIC 1, 19,600. Okay. You see right there, you've got the Trump situation. You got Rogan and John Anik right there. Trump at UFC 302. Everyone's standing going crazy for Trump every day. Then we go down here. Doug Leone right here. Okay. Partner Sequoia Capital right there. Doug Leone. Headline. I posted 59 minutes ago. I have become increasingly concerned about the general direction of our country, the state of our broken immigration system, the ballooning deficit, and foreign policy missteps, among other issues. Therefore, I am supporting President Trump in this coming election. This has been up, players. This has been up about 1 hour. You already have 397 likes replies, 393 reposts, 1,1800 likes, and 262,000 views. I mean, this is breaking out all over the place here. Things are happening. I predicted it. Let me go to what I wrote. I'm not going to be able to sign in here on the other one because I have to do. I'm doing this through Chrome and everything, and so. But I'll be able to read it. So you're not going to be able to see it, but I'll be able to read it. You can go to my John D. Villarreal LinkedIn and see it. So let's go back to Doug Leone. First of all, props to Doug Leone. Come on now, let's do that. I'm on the wrong page here. Here we go. Okay, let's give Doug Leone some props on that one. Good job. DL over there at Sequoia Capital. Hey, listen, I met Don Valentine, the guy who founded Sequoia Capital, Mike Moore, stuff like that, and everything. And you know what? Sequoia Capital, one of the greats, one of the all-time greats, right up there with KP and some other Sequoia Capital. But I mean, Sequoia Capital showing leadership. Gotta love it. Silicon Valley, Elon Musk, myself, others, getting Silicon Valley back to what it was all about. Okay, which is the technology and business and stuff like that. Nobody cares what your politics are. Vote for whoever you want to, say whatever you want to do, but you shouldn't be an activist at work. Anyone should be. It shouldn't matter. Nobody cared what the politics were before. It was what you can do, what you're building. Let's go. Let's work together. And it got to crazy land where, cancel culture. If you weren't saying the right thing, didn't have if you were conservative, good luck. You were never going to get a job. And it was craziness. Okay. So, but I don't want to get distracted. We've talked about that before. I want to stay on this. So let's go back to this. Let's talk about what I wrote here. And this has gotten a lot of attention, relatively a lot of attention on LinkedIn. Okay. And it's still getting attention. And I've got to walk through it. So I put the stuff up on Sean McGuire. We talked about that in the first hour. And we might touch on it again very briefly, but we've already covered that with Sean McGuire. And then I put a bunch of other stuff on too. So I did the Sean McGuire thing of how he's coming out for Trump, right? And he basically, the headline was, I'm donating $300,000, to Trump. I may lose friends in that. That's okay. And the pull quotes were, quote, I live in Silicon Valley, which leans traditionally very left. Quote, freedom of speech means nothing if you're afraid to use it. And I'm saying that, there's a Sequoia Capital partner, Sean McGuire, and I said things seem to be changing the VC tech entrepreneurship billionaire centers, in my opinion. What's your reaction? Now, that was seen by about 311 people. Got a number of people, a couple comments, and a few people liking it, right? Okay, fine. Then I followed up after that. And I'm like, Tesla's Elon Musk, Kraft Ventures Partners, former CEO of PayPal, David Sachs, because you had the All In podcast, where the All In podcast, you had the whole crew there, Peter Thiel and Calacanis, and Calacanis used to work, I believe, at Wilson Sonsini, like I did, and props to Wilson Sonsini, and we love, met John Wilson, Larry Sonsini, my boss, Mario Rosati. Well, they're all my boss, but I mean, my direct boss, and John Goodrich, and a great firm, legendary firm. But and then again, I'm not alleging anything, but in my personal opinion, Larry and Mario at least were Republicans, like moderate Republicans, kind of like I'm not going to qualify it so much, but I mean, maybe Pete Wilson, George Bush, or whatever like that. We didn't talk tremendously about that. Well, I talked to Mario Fair. I talk to Mario all the time. Some people were calling me Mario's adopted son or something like that. And I don't want to get into that. I'm not making any allegations. I appreciate Mario. I'm my own person. I'm definitely way out there and stuff like that. But I was very, very close to Mario for a while, and I appreciate everything out there. But now you see, and I love my people at Wilson. Don't get me wrong. And I still get the alumni stuff. I got an email from them today about like, hey, I got to put my alumni page up and everything like that. And for a long time, people are like, you never worked at Wilson, you're a liar and stuff like that. And where did I get this? I just got this. Here we go. Yeah, 11:27 a.m. Wilson Sonsini alumni. We need your page. Catch up. And they've done a pretty good job of that. But the point is that now I look at it, and I'm not singling them out. I mean, I love Wilson, but there's so many of these firms where I was a massive crazy rainmaker. I'm not going to go over that again because we've gone over. I've got to get to what I have to get to here with all the billionaires, people coming out for Trump, Silicon Valley changing. And dude, it's almost, I will talk to people that started law firm. I'm not going to single anyone out because it's whatever. Yeah, it's a free country. But, and again, I expect a certain thing from Berkeley. I understand when I went to Berkeley, it wasn't University of Chicago. I understood that. It wasn't even Stanford, although Stanford, look at Stanford and Yale now. But I mean, it's almost impossible to get a job if you're conservative in law. Look at what they're doing. Look at this. Look at the scandal with the UCLA, it's my opinion, scandal, UCLA Medical School. Look at what's going on with that. Okay, Berkeley doesn't have a medical school and stuff like that. I mean, you're just getting woke stuff all over the place. It's getting crazy. But the pushback is on, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, Budweiser, Target, all this stuff. People have had enough. But my point I'm saying is Wilson used to have at least, in my opinion, two of the named partners that were moderate, Republican, whatever, including the biggest one, Larry Sonsini. I believe, maybe I'm wrong. I apologize, Larry, if I'm wrong. It's my personal opinion, not allege anything. And now, it's maybe a little different. You know, a lot of super woke stuff going on and stuff like that. And I'm not singling them up. I love Wilson. It's all of them. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Perkins Coie was trying to, in my opinion, talking to me or I had a couple of interviews there trying to poach you there. Everyone's trying to get the Silicon Valley game. And of course, you want to get the, lawyers from Wilson. Wilson was the best. And then Cooley, maybe Fenwick, but really Cooley and Wilson were the two super heavyweights at that time, my time. And so you try to, the other firms that want to get in that Valley game, venture law group had just started and stuff, would try to grab lawyers from there. Of course, Perkins Coie turned out to be super liberal. That's like, you're talking, that definitely was. And none of this should matter because I think again, not licensed in Florida, not practicing in Florida, no attorney-client privilege, etc. like that. And this actually will obviously make a point here. I'm talking very fast. I got to slow down. I'm trying to get everything in very, very rapidly, and I'm a super genius, all that. And the fact that it was so hard, still super hard. You have a lot of people after the pandemic from Berkeley, like they breaking off like, hey, big law is not cool, or they're not really conducive to their family, or hey, I'm a mom, or hey, I'm doing this, and I'm sorry, and I'd interview with them and say, yeah, I don't know, not. What? Wait a minute, you started your own firm, you don't like money? Like, I'm a massive rainmaker. Like, what are you talking about? And then again, if it's a one-off, but when it's like 3, 5, 10, 20 of these instances, I'm not saying it's 20, but I'm saying it's multiple. Let's say, I don't know, 3 to 10, somewhere in there. All of a sudden you get a pattern. And it's weird. It's super weird. Meanwhile, you've got people that never did VC before, never started a law firm before. Oh yeah, they're talking the woke stuff. Yeah, let's give you money for here we go. First time fund, 70 million, 100 million. And I saw a bunch of these. You see none of them now. None of them. And the people that are doing their own firms are like, it's a little mixed because it's not so hard out there. And I saw the same thing. The same thing happened to me. Like when I was bringing in so much business I brought in, I believe, somewhere around 8 figures over time. And I did in the less than 2 years, right around, year and a half, 2 years, somewhere like that. I was at Wilson, which is pretty typical. Typical when you go to big law, it's about 2-year stint. And I got a job and I got offered to go to the venture fund with Gil Amino, former CEO of Apple, also one of my friends on LinkedIn. Appreciate you, Gil. That was cool. Be a partner there because I was really hot. And so but anyway, the point is I brought in insane levels of business. I think it was something like 35, 36 clients. Somewhere around 80% got funded. I think like 5, 6 got exits. It was nobody else has ever done this before or since as a junior associate, from my understanding. Now, there's all kinds of stuff happening out there that I don't know about. I'm sure there's other people. I'm sure someone at some point will break my record if they haven't already, whatever like that. But I mean, let's just say this was astronomical, unseen before. Okay, by any means, this was like mid-partner level type of stuff. All right. And I got a lot of recognition. I would go to WS Investments. Larry was there. I mean, the top people knew it. And I basically was something. I had a closed door meeting with Mario, and I could say it now. Probably didn't say I couldn't say it, but anything. And I would respect the confidence if he did. But it was like, oh, I wish, you're amazing. I wish you'd come here. You needed to be here when we were a small firm. I can't do anything else for you. There's 800 attorneys here. And Mario was fascinated by me, definitely like that. I mean, in my opinion, it's all my opinion, not alleged anything. And just knew the raw horsepower, but he was a great boss because he let me do my thing. I'm like, Mario, you let me do your thing. I'll promise you I'll make you money. And I did. I made him crazy money. Right. At one point I had like about a third of his whole book, even though he had wings. He had whole wings. All right. A bunch of lawyers working for him. And I had about a third of it. He let me there was a contract attorney, Allison, and she was really cool. And Bob, who was a paralegal, and I kind of made them have my own little mini team going on like that. I would go out and speak at Wilson. Speak for Wilson with Bob Burnout. He kind of gave me a partner, and this guy was not my biggest fan. He was a cool guy. I mean, listen, I respected him, but I don't think he was my biggest fan. But when I opened up Wharton for them, we're speaking at Wharton, went to Berkeley to speak, went to Stanford. I went to Garage.com events. I was doing so many different things. I was out there. I was on TV. I was doing GameSpot TV. I was actually, there's a point to this, which is who cares what the politics are, dude? I made people that hated me probably tons of money. What Wilson found out is, and when I told him, we don't need this, I had people come on, JD, why aren't you staying in your office? Hey, why aren't you this? What are you doing? This was like the 3rd year associates, the 5th year associates, the 6th year, 7th year associates who were hoping to make partner. Almost none of them did, right? And stuff. And I'm like, dude, you understand this is, because I've been a lifelong entrepreneur. You understand this is a business. You understand that if money doesn't come in the door, that doesn't matter if you were law review 5 years ago, 7 years ago, where you went to go. That doesn't matter. If you're not helping your clients, how are you adding value to your clients? I would write business plans. I would do all kinds of different things. I would go pitch to the VCs. VCs knew me. I was doing, I was doing all kinds of different stuff. And I'm kind of sad because my wife's never known me in that phase, and I wanted to get back to that, but it's almost impossible to get back to it because if you're not woke, forget it. Talk to the hand. Along with a lot of other stuff. And there's all the silly stuff that happens with law. If you're out of it for like a year, you're no longer a lawyer. Same thing with medicine. Anyway, we're short on time, so I'm not going to be able to get to everything. But I had haters, and I was making these haters crazy amounts of money. I was helping pay their salary because I'd bringing in business to the door. Then you had a tech crash, and I was still out there, still sending them business, still doing stuff like that. And after the tech crash, it was not too long. I was still sending in business, still doing stuff. And it was like, at some point a light went on. And I think I was talking to me, like I come up with all kinds of different ideas, but I don't know if it was somehow, I'm not saying I'm not going to take direct credit, but I was talking about alumni stuff. And all of a sudden Wilson comes up with the alumni stuff. I'm not sure how that came up, but I mean, I helped write this business plan for Center for Law and Technology. I still don't get love from Berkeley Law a lot of times. And I helped them, but they sure loved me when I was at Wilson and bringing them into Mario and stuff like that. This is what I mean. And listen, I love Berkeley. It's fine. I only expect certain things out because Berkeley's and go Bears. And we love it. But I mean, this is insanity. This is not how it works. Annalise Saxenian, one of the deans of Berkeley, regional advantage. You got to work with everybody. It's about the business. It's about cooperation, collaboration, sitting down. Now you're seeing that with Lex Friedman. Props out there, Lex, and the MIT guy. You're seeing that with Rogan. You're seeing with other people, Patrick Bet-David. I've been doing it. It's like you got all this silly stuff has to stop. Who gets the job done? How do we work together? How do we make things happen? Okay, that's what's happening with these billionaires, in my opinion. And I told you that Silicon Valley was going to reset and get back to what it is because it's Silicon Valley. Because it has to, because that's what innovation is. Innovation is not shutting people out. That's what Route 128 did. It's not invented here, whatever like that, playing politics and stuff like that. That's not what Silicon Valley is. Okay. And people come here. Yes, America's more diverse now, but the promise of America is people come here to make a great life for themselves and to have the opportunity to do different things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Mexico, Colombia. It doesn't matter. Right? Everybody's welcome. If you're for freedom, liberty, opportunity, equality, and all that type of stuff. So in that respect, there's so much more to talk about here. I could go on forever, as you can imagine, but you get a taste of it. And again, like I'm a weird dude because I'm like one level, half a level, 2 levels below the super big time. And I've met more billionaires or been one level away, like brother or friend or whatever it is, than almost anyone who's not a billionaire. Like, it's crazy. I've been around stupid amounts of money and power. I've met President Trump. I've met President Bush. I mean, on and on and on. But I'm just me. I'm just, like if you saw me on the side, you say that guy's a clown. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So that's why I knew what was going to happen with some of this stuff. So now in that mix, I've wasted a lot of time, but I mean, I had to set the table because it makes more sense because I knew that why this was coming. So here we go. So I'll put this post here. Tesla's Elon Musk, crowd venture partner and former CEO of PayPal, David Sachs, Pershing Square Management, LPs, William Ackerman, Blackstone, Steven Schwartzman, Robert Bigelow, Continental Resources founder, chairman, Harold Hamm, Dallas Mavericks, Miriam Adelson, Kevin O'Leary, and more are supporting Trump after the verdict. Note, Elon Musk is the richest person in the world again. Now that got 365 impressions. Now a bunch more people started jumping on that. And in fact, I kept going because there was more people that added that. John Katsumita, Steve Wynn, Tremaine Polyhopta, I hope I'm sorry about mispronouncing that. Mark Andreessen of Anderson and Andreessen Horowitz, Keith Raboy, Larry Ellison, Oracle founder, Scott McNeely, some micro founder, Grant Cardone, Vivek Ramaswamy. These are serious people that step it up. And now we have Ken Leone, Doug Leone. Sorry, Doug. Moving fast here. Of Sequoia that's stepping up on that too. So you're seeing more and more people coming out there. You're seeing momentum. Then I posted something else. I posted about Monday's show about the Blink AI. We appreciate them. Stephanie Quinn, Dave Perry, fantastic. Appreciate you. And then I posted something else about Silicon Valley, about more people coming out there, New York Times article and stuff. But I posted this other article that's getting a lot of heat. And I tagged Stanford. I said, this is we'll close on this. How will Stanford University and University of California, Berkeley, because I'm seeing like the deans, DEI, ESG, DEI, woke. And that's it. Great institutions. No one's saying don't feel. Diversity is fantastic. But again, a 50% solution is not a 100% solution. If you're going to be inclusive of everybody, including different political ideas. And I will give Berkeley this, like, listen, Berkeley let me in and Berkeley let me exist. There's some bumpy moments there, whatever like that. But I think Hopkins has done a better job of that. But I love Berkeley, you know what I mean? And Stanford and Berkeley, Stanford, and Hopkins are really, really great. But I mean, there's a lot of great institutions out there, just Chicago's and all. And I have hope that the Ivy League is going to continue to be Ivy League and get it together. But here's what I've said. Among many others, react to hashtag Silicon Valley turning more towards a GOP. Parenthetical, actually getting a bit more neutral / balance, as in Sequoia Capital's Sean McGuire's words, Silicon Valley leans very far left. In other words, you got a long ways to go to even get to neutral Silicon Valley, which you should be. Not in terms of believe whatever you want to believe, Bay Area, whatever. But you shouldn't be canceling people, checking through their social media to see, do they vote the right way before we hire them or not? A lot of these HR departments are not needed anyway. Sorry, I like some HR people like that. It's gotta be about meritocracy. We got to get back to that, dude. Seriously, like toot sweet. Okay, that's French for very fast. Getting back to my post, is this a course correction that was bound to happen? Even Google CEO Sundar Pichai is saying Googlers are here to work and not be activists. Washington Post article that I linked to. Crazy concept, I know. And there was a New York Post article, Silicon Valley investors embrace Trump after years of leaning left, quote unquote, impossible to support Biden. Okay, so a lot of people behind the scenes, they'll say whatever, but behind the scenes, it's a different deal. The thing is with memes, you get what you see. So here on this one, 613 impressions, and more people keep liking it. People that aren't even connected to me, they keep coming up in on this stuff. I just got another one during the show. So something's happening out there. People react to that. And one of the comments from my guy, Umar Khan, awesome. This guy's digital assets, fintech. He said, wow, John, you were on this months ago. About to start calling you John Stradamus. Telling you that's why you listen to John D. Villarreal radio show here on Newstalk 1040 to be ahead of the game. Great show. Appreciate Dave Perry. Appreciate Stephanie Quinn of Blink AI. Appreciate Paul. Appreciate you out there. Have a great week. Stay blessed. John D. Villarreal radio show on Newstalk 1040 all over the great area and live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X, where we post on links. Everybody stay blessed. Have a great week. Bye.